Ladies and gentlemen, razor blades may not be the only thing in your loved one's food and treats that you may need to be concerned about this holiday season. There is a new epidemic that is making its way across America. And no, it's not fentanyl, even though that should be stopped. That's a really bad thing. It is finding unholy amounts of caffeine in places that caffeine really shouldn't be. Panera Bread has recently come under fire. They've got 2 lawsuits on their hands for deaths related to their charged lemonade. Basically, you had 2 people who went into Panera Bread and they just wanted a nice little lemonade. But turns out that this lemonade that they got on tap with free refills was packing about 400 milligrams of caffeine. Upon hearing this news though, I immediately asked myself, why don't I hear more about my local SARM goblins, the broccoli heads, the teenagers who pull up to the gym dry scooping that pre-workout that's packing nearly double that amount of caffeine? Well, it's actually a pretty simple answer. The people who were involved in these lawsuits had pre-existing heart conditions. Now, this is still a tragedy. This is still terrible. There's a lot of things that probably could have been done to mark this lemonade better. But I couldn't help but wonder, is there something extra that Panera Bread is hiding in this lemonade? Could the forbidden pump that I've always dreamed about be hidden inside of a local chain restaurant? Well, today we're going to find that out. I'm going to get the gnarliest pump possible running solely off of Panera Bread charged lemonade. Behold the gates of hell. But actually, look at the weather. It looks like a toxic wasteland. Okay, so I've secured the lemonade. Actually, some interesting stuff when you go in. They no longer let you have it on tap. And they also give you the nutritional information. And then when you go to buy it, they ask you a disclaimer to make sure you know how much caffeine is in it, which I thought was actually kind of crazy, the lengths they're going to avoid being sued again. But I mean, when your lemonade's getting more publicity for killing people than actual energy drinks are, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. Another thing I immediately noticed was the 50 grams of frickin' sugar this thing has. I think a Coca-Cola has like 30 or so. And I also think they lowered the amount of caffeine in it. When I was looking through that little screen, the caffeine was lower than 400 that was listed earlier. I also got the mango flavor. I don't know if that makes a difference or anything, but let's give it a little taste. That tastes really gross. That's actually pretty nasty. I actually don't think this is a good item. I almost don't even want to drink all this. I don't know if any of you guys have ever tried straight caffeine. When I'm on a budget, sometimes I'll get caffeine pills, and I don't like swallowing them because they have a delayed onset, so I'll chew them in my mouth. Really random, but it's super bitter, and I can kind of taste it in this. It's almost as if you shouldn't be putting an extreme amount of caffeine in your lemonade, and then trying to cover it up with 50 grams of sugar. But I guess only the pump will tell if this is worth it. So to start things off right, I did basically my favorite movement of all time, which is a nice pull-up. Pull-ups are good for me because I feel like I'm getting a full range of motion, and I feel like I'm activating a lot of different muscles in different ways that other exercises just really don't. I couldn't feel a whole lot of the effects of the caffeine right here. I did feel, however, like I was absorbing a lot more water and I felt a lot more full. So today was my push day. Here's my incline bench. I usually do about 3 sets consisting of 12 reps, 10 reps, and then 8 reps, trying to go to failure on that last rep. This is my 10 rep set, and I'm going to be honest, at this point it was really starting to feel like a quality workout. I was getting a lot of energy from that extreme amount of sugar that I don't feel like my body was really used to. I've never been one of those guys to bring like the gummy bears to the gym or to have a Rice Krispie immediately before every set, but this Panera Bread lemonade was putting me on to the idea a little bit. For anybody keeping track, I did say this was my 10 rep set, but I ended up doing 11 because I felt so good. Here I'm doing a little bit of pec deck. This is honestly one of my favorite chest workouts. I think I'm repping at about 160 pounds. I was trying to focus on getting a real nice hold at the end there so I can pinch my chest together. I feel like I'm really maximizing this workout when I do that. It just feels great, feels like my chest is getting full. I also, just like my last exercise, felt like things were going great. I was able to push myself a little bit further than I normally do. So overall, the charged lemonade has been doing really well for me. This is also the middle set of my 3-set system, so you can see that I'm having a little bit of struggles here, but I don't want to go till complete failure so that I can go all out on that last set. A lot of people have different opinions about hypertrophy. I really just know that if I do it this way, I get continually stronger over time, and so I like it. Here I'm doing some dumbbell lateral raises. I'm doing them seated because I'm a lazy loser, and then also when I do them standing up, I cheat even more than you can see right here. At this point, I'm about midway through my set, and I feel like I'm pushing through. I don't have that lactic acid buildup feeling, which was really nice not to have to worry about during these exercises. I could focus purely on just doing the exercise rather than how painful it was. Here you can see me doing some dips through a precarious angle that you probably didn't expect to see today. At this point, I feel like this lemonade's working just like any other pre-workout. The only thing I could ask more from it is that it made me less pasty. Definitely no signs of like an extreme caffeine intake. Like this wasn't a life-changing event. It definitely wasn't hitting me with anything more crazy than a regular pre-workout would give you. And so that is it for the official Panera Bread Charged Lemonade pre-workout review. Do I think it was the most killer pump of all time? No, not really. Do I think it could be dangerous if you didn't know what you were drinking and you had pre-existing heart conditions? Yes. Do I think Panera Bread has done a better job at making sure you know that it has caffeine? Yes. Like I said at the beginning, there's definitely a lot of gym rats out there who are taking way more caffeine and way more concentrated doses, but the difference is they know exactly what they're getting into. But it did teach me a lot more about sugar and about how that affects my body. If you got any suggestions for a different pre-workout I should try, let me know in the comments below.